In today's segment, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to stay away from alternative energies and go into another green segment, which is composting. Today, we're going to be building a composter out of a 32-gallon plastic or rubber trash can that you can get at any hardware store or any local supermarket. We're going to use basic power tools like a power drill. You can either use a knife or a sawzall. I left the option for both. And we're going to be using a whole hog. A whole hog is what you would use to cut in a hole. In this particular case, it's about 2 inches wide. Now, if you're wondering why you should compost, there are many reasons why you should. First of all, composting is a good way to reduce a lot of waste in our landfills. Our landfills get filled with leaves, twigs, vegetables, a lot of rotten biological product that doesn't need to be there to begin with. We generally need landfills to get rid of non-biological waste as opposed to biological waste. We can get rid of some biological waste, don't get me wrong, but most of the things that you would eat or that are around your lawn can actually be thrown away into a composter. When mixed in with soil, once all of the vegetables, leaves, whatever you're throwing in there degrades, it can actually be mixed in with topsoil and used as fertilizer, which is what we're going to be doing today. Now, this plastic can is very easy to play with, and what I mean by play with, I mean it's easy to cut and manipulate. What we're going to be doing is we already have one open end. We're going to need a second open end, which is at the top. I'm going to be cutting off the top of this can here, and I'm going to build 3 layers of holes. 2-inch holes, probably every 4 to 6 inches, completely around it. And that's going to be pretty much it. It's a very simple build. This shouldn't take you any longer than 5 minutes to complete. Now, there is actually a ratio from browns to greens. Browns being leaves, twigs, bark, coffee grains, things of that nature, compared to greens. Greens being vegetables. You can use vegetable oil if you have an excess amount. Anything that is biological, anything that you would eat, you could throw away, but you have to put it in a ratio. If you have too many greens, your compost is going to be extremely saturated and you're going to get a lot of foul smell. If you have too many browns, it's not going to break down enough. You need the actual bacteria out of the greens to break down everything. Another reason why we're going to vent it is that it allows it to breathe and break down faster. Oxygen is an accelerant for everything, so you need oxygen to break everything down. So, like I said before, top, middle, bottom section, you don't need, I would probably leave a good ½ foot from the bottom. If you're going to be sticking it in probably about 4 inches, then I would go up even higher. In this particular case, I will be sticking it in about, I would say about 3 or 4 inches into the dirt. So I may only want to do 2 sections, but in this case I am going to be doing 3 sections. I do want it to air out well, and I do want it to not smell. Another thing is if you don't have enough spacing in your holes, the smell will become more pungent. Now you're going to want to take your drill, affix your whole hog onto your drill, bring down your actual can, and I'm going to start drilling my holes. Hopefully your drill bit's sharp. And that's basically how long it took me to cut my first hole. Now the hole may not be clean, just use your knife and trim off any excess pieces. I am going to go every about ½ foot. So that's it. I've already cut my first layer in under 1 minute. I've cut every single hole that I needed to for my first layer. So I'm going to go down about ½ foot and do the exact same thing. However, I'm not going to line my holes up exact, meaning if my hole is here, I'm not going to cut another hole here. I'm going to stagger it off a bit so that I have holes that are separate from each other. So when you have leaves and everything all stacked up, it's not going to all fall down one hole or it's not going to all line up in one hole. It just makes it easier, and we're going to have a better breathing apparatus up top, which will help to grade it all better. So go ahead, take your drill, and begin doing your staggered holes for the second layer. And I've now completed my second line of holes. I'll dump out all the excess holes that I've cut in. Again, you might need a knife to actually trim off some of the threads if you've made any with your hole hog. But again, 2 seconds will work. I really only have a couple that I need to trim. And just go ahead and cut it. Alright. This looks pretty good. And you can see that I have trimmed all the holes that I need, and it took me approximately 2.5 minutes.